So blending learning is something that we're going to be using this semester, and it's being done because it wants to put an emphasis on the student learning experience. A study was done where there were 225 students surveyed, and it found out that 1.5 times more students failed the class when there was just traditional learning. So blended learning is a way for the learning process to occur real life. It's very flexible, so it's done on the student schedule for the most part. We'll discuss how the tracking calendar and the syllabus is set up to facilitate this blended learning methodology. All right, so it's very flexible. Again, you'll be able to come to class, and even before class, you'll have some things that you will need to do before you come to class, and then we'll have our class session, and I'll go over this a little bit more. But you'll have class session, and then some work to do after class. So this is just a way to be flexible and a way for you to learn the material the best way that you can learn it. Because not all students learn things the same way. So this blended learning allows you to learn. If you learn better by listening to direction, you'll be able to learn. If you learn better by seeing it, you'll be able to learn. If you're better at note taking, you learn it. So it's just a whole mixture of a way to learn what's being taught in the class. How's blended learning done? Well, again, you have your before, your during, and after a class period, or a class session. So each class session that we have, you're expected, before that class even starts, you're expected to prepare for it. And then the during, which would be, it's considered face-to-face, but since we're remote, we're going to be doing everything pretty much in Skype. And then you'll have your face-to-face, that's the during, and then the after is pretty much the assessment, where you will have the opportunity to work on case studies, homework, and also provide feedback. Because after every class, or after we're done with our discussion and you're done with your group activity, before you even log off or leave this class session, you'll be able to do a journal entry so that you can kind of go over some of the things you learned today. You'll answer the question of the day, as well as be able to provide feedback on if there's something else you need you need us to review over. So again, I went through the preparation. We'll review the Blackboard modules, or at least one, the first one that we'll be discussing next week. We'll go over reviewing the Blackboard module. And you're expected to actually review that before the class starts, so that you'll be able to prepare a little bit better. And if there's some questions you might have before class, you can bring them to class and we can discuss it. During, again, it's face-to-face. This class meets every Monday between 10:30 and 11:50. We'll probably be using the whole time. It won't be me lecturing. I think my lectures will probably be 15 to 20 minutes long, and again, it'll be recorded and shared with you through a YouTube link. You'll have knowledge checks using the Kahoot program, or the Kahoot app, and then you'll have group activities. That's the way that we'll pretty much reinforce what's being discussed in the lecture. And then again, the question of the day. So lectures will be recorded and shared. We'll move into going into some of the introductory documents. Now, to get to the introductory documents, you need to log into Blackboard. So once you get logged into Blackboard, right here where it says your courses or my courses, you click on Marketing Principles, click Welcome here, or Welcome Start here. This is all my contact, or most of my contact information. My office hours are Fridays from 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. But if this time doesn't work for you, I'm pretty flexible for the most part. So if this doesn't work for you, you can just we can just set up another time or another day for you to for your skill assistance or for my office hours. All right, if you click on the tracking calendar or supplemental syllabus, we'll go over that first. And I won't spend too much time on this. You can read at your own on your own time. But again, we meet Mondays, every Mondays from 10:30 to 11:50. Let me see what else. These are the two best ways to get in touch with me. Either email or text or phone call. Usually most students text or email me. Those both are fine. I check my email a lot throughout the day so I can make sure that I'm not missing any emails and that you're getting the help that you need. The time commitment for this course, it says for every 3-hour course, you're expected to spend 6 hours between in class and then out of class time. Use as much time as you need to get the assignments completed. If you, any time throughout the semester, if you're having any issues, either let me know through text message, email, or through your journal entries. But I want to make sure that if you're having issues or any problems, or you have any questions, I want to make sure that we take care of it right away so that it doesn't come a couple weeks down the line where you don't understand something, and we need to remember what was discussed and before, so that I can try to assist you with that. So definitely let me know as soon as possible if you're having questions or having any problems. All right, so as far as makeup, the makeup policy, pretty much you have 3 days after the assignment's due to turn it in. Anything over 4 days, unless I give written approval to turn it in after 4 days, you won't get any credit for it. So please stay on task. As far as in-class activities, again, we'll do Kahoot for knowledge check, as well as your group activities. And then just, a short lecture for the most part. Like I said, 15-20 minutes. You will be expected to use Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and PowerPoint. Attendance policy, if you can't make it to a class, let me know. If you won't be in class on time, just log in when you can. And again, you'll have the lectures shared with you. So that shouldn't be a problem as far as staying on track with the lectures if you can't make it to class. Classrooms etiquette, pretty much, since we're not really face-to-face and we're doing it through Skype, just try to minimize any distractions, whether it's a cell phone, TV, your laptop. Try to minimize that so that you can get the lessons that's needed. Whenever you send an email to me, always make sure that there's something descriptive in the subject line. If there's nothing in the subject line, I will delete the email immediately. I won't even read it. So make sure you put something in the subject line. Also, don't use texting language when you send an email. I have it right here. Some of the language that people like to use, or shortcuts they like to use. Just make sure you're typing in complete sentences and it's legible. As far as activities, we'll go through Blackboard Chapter 1 or Unit 1 to look at some of the things, and also just know that you will have a midterm and a final exam. I will recommend that you pay attention to the knowledge check questions, because you will probably see those on one of those or both of those tests. Reflections are pretty much the journal entries. You'll get a chance to reflect, and if there's any questions or comments you might have, you'll be able to reflect on that. As far as the grades, it's pretty much on par with Bryan and Stratton, so I won't go over that too much. You are expected to complete this and then email it back to me. You can use some fancy like brush script font to, if you want to make it look like you wrote your name in cursive and not use the right font. So use brush script standard. That's the best and legible way to make it look like a signature. Going to Blackboard, still in the same welcome start here, tracking calendars here. Should download or open. Alright, so again, it has my contact information here. These are the best ways to get in touch with me. And we're starting, this is our first week, so we're doing the introduction. There was nothing to prepare for this week. This is face-to-face or remote. Friday skills assistance kind of reviews what I'll discuss in the skills assistance. Now this is completely voluntary. You don't have to be available 10:30 to 11:30 on Fridays. This is only if you need assistance. And then after class, outside of class, you're going to work on the Module 1 project and choosing 2 companies, and then the due date and the due time is January 31st, or the day before class at 11:59 p.m. So if you go to week 4, you see that you need to read through Module 1 to kind of prepare for the class. We do knowledge checks, lecture, group activity, and then Friday, skills assistance. And same thing, you have something to do outside of class. It's due the day before the next class. For the course Diagnostic, click on that. You see it's going to download. You open the file up. This is also due before next class, so before next week. Just fill this out and then email it back to me. It's real simple. There's no points. You don't get any points for it, or you don't have to worry about having it being late or anything. But this is just kind of a way to gauge your understanding about marketing. And if there are any other ways you want to get contacted, you have a chance to list it here. Get to the first module for this week. You go to the class, and on the left hand side click module, and then click module 1. Now you'll be able to have, like, you have the lecture notes, so if you click on this document here where it says what is marketing.dcx, this is pretty much all of the lecture notes. Everything that we'll discuss for Module 1 is in here. And then for the assignments, we click on Assignments. This discusses the portfolio project. But for next week's assignment, if you look in the tracking calendar, so it says M1P or Module 1 project. You'll have to select two companies. So that's how you get to the modules and the assignments. For the course assessments, again, you go into marketing principles, go down to course assessments, and you should be able to view all of the assessments that will be due throughout the semester. I would recommend that you wait until we actually discuss each module before working on it. But if you want to try to work on it or get a head start, feel free, but it'll be due, check the calendar for the due dates. So to get to the journal entries, which you'll have to do at the end of every class, you click down on ePortfolio and Tools, and your screen probably doesn't look like this. It should have journals and ePortfolio. The first thing I need you to click on is ePortfolio. And that's all I need you to do for that. Just click on ePortfolio. All right, you go back into ePortfolio and Tools, and you click on Journals, and you click on BUSS110 Journal Entries. And here are the instructions. If you ever have a question about what needs to be discussed in this journal entry, the instructions are here. The way that you need to put the heading on, you use the week number, or don't use the week number, you use the date. So if I wanted to create a journal entry, I click on Create Journal Entry, and for today's entry, today is January 25th, 2021, so that's the title, and then I'll just type whatever the question of the day is, and if there's anything that I would like to have reviewed in the next class session, I would put it here. Now this is, no one else gets to see this, the journal entries, except for me and you. It's a way for us to have a one-on-one conversation with each other. So if you're not comfortable with asking questions in class, this is a place where you can ask your questions. If you have any, if you're confused about anything, or if we need to review anything, you can do it in the journal entry if you don't want to speak up in class. The journals, there only be whatever you enter in here, and then I'll reply back. I reply to all of the journals, so you won't see any journal entries in here until you actually create a journal. So always remember to click Create Journal. Once you click Create Journal, the title is always going to be whatever today's date is. Do not use the week number, because down the line it's a little confusing to figure out which journal entries which. And then you just type your entry in there. To get to Module 1 assignment, we're going to click on Marketing Principles. We're going to go to Marketing or Modules, and since the assignment that's due next week, which is to choose 2 companies, it's for Module 1, we're going to click on Module 1, click on Assignments, and this is where the companies are. There's 5 companies. You select 2 of those companies. Now you'll see this throughout the semester, where we'll discuss the portfolio project. So we're going to open up the portfolio project. You can read through all of this, but the important thing for this assignment is, if you go to the second page, it says Module 1, and it has the same thing that's listed in Blackboard. So you'll have things to do throughout the semester relating to this portfolio project. And you need to check your tracking calendar, or check the tracking calendar to figure out when each part of this project is due. But you're just going through, like, what I'm expecting from you on by January 31st is the 2 companies that you plan on doing your marketing plan on. So that's all you need to do, is select the 2 and then send me an email with those 2, and that should be good enough. So the question of the day for week 1 is, what's one thing you expect to learn in this course that will benefit you? You go into this course, click on ePortfolio and Tools, click on Journals, Journal Entries, and then click Create Journal Entry. And I'm going to type today's date, and in the message area, I'm going to answer this question, as well as if there's any other questions I have pertaining to this class session, I'm going to put it in there. So go ahead and do that before you get signed out. If you have any questions, any other questions, put them in the Skype meeting and I'll answer them.